Hello. Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. Thank you guys for taking the time out to join me on this wonderful Wellness Wednesday, you guys. I'm hoping that you guys have been having a blessed week so far. Welcome to another episode here at the Mental Wellness Sanctuary with yours truly. I am Coach Francis McMiller, licensed mental health counselor here in Jacksonville, Florida. You guys are tuning in right now to the Mental Wellness Sanctuary. And here we talk about all things spiritual, physical, mental, a very holistic approach to just anything that can help one another, whether it's with your walk with Christ or if it's with you personally, mentally, emotionally. We are here to kind of sort of help you. Just give you some tips and some tools, some strategies of things that could be helpful for you along your journey, whatever your journey looks like. So, of course, guys, I'll give you guys a few moments to just kind of sort of pop on here um, this evening. But I wanted to make sure that you guys knew. So, I just have so many wonderful things that have been going on. I cannot speak about them just yet. So, y'all bear with me. I have been doing so much over the past few weeks, vending events. I have some upcoming speaking engagements that I will be taking a part of. Everything is going super fast right now. And so, for those of you that know, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have been experiencing the exact same thing, right? So just a couple of things I just wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of just what it is that I, as a coach, as a therapist, I'm able to offer you guys. I am a licensed mental health therapist here in Jacksonville, Florida. I do have my own private practice, and I am accepting new clients. So if you are interested in connecting with me in that regard, you may find me on Psychology Today. You may also find me on your website. I always encourage, though, that you check with your insurance companies just to make sure that I am somebody that is on your actual insurance panel. If I am, then you would be what we consider in network, which means you would have reduced fees or smaller copays or responsibilities financially to connect with me. If for some reason you do not have um, insurance or I'm not in network, then that's when it can be a little bit more costly to connect with me. However, I do offer a sliding scale fee. So with, consultation and things like that, we're able to kind of see if we can work together at a reduced rate than what I normally charge. For individual counseling sessions, if you are looking for a business or a personal coach that can help you with your business, starting it up, even when it comes to my approach is a lot different. I am somebody that can kind of help you collectively, not just with your startup process, but the interworkings of your business from an administrative standpoint, whether that's onboarding, whether that's with systems and policies, different things like that. I'm also able to help out in that regard. On the flip side, due to my licensure, I am also able to help when it comes to establishing mental health, mental wellness from a solopreneur, entrepreneur standpoint, small business standpoint, and even Fortune 500 company standpoint. I'm able to come in and work with you and your staff on ways to take care of yourself. I always say that if we don't do that, we end up finding ourselves in a place where we what's the word, you can't have a good personal life or a good professional life. They both work together. So for me, I wanted to make sure that I offered something for some of those that are interested, whether it's you personally as the owner or whether you have people that you work with or work under you that may need your support. So just to keep in mind, that is something that I've offered. If you are interested in that, you may visit me at my website, which is www.puzzle-peace.com. It'll take you directly to my website and we can kind of sort of go from there, okay? Um, so without further ado, guys, I wanted to talk to you guys about um, something that I think is really important for a lot of us, um, and just kind of sort of go from there. So one of the things that has been coming up for those that I say, and I've been saying this for a couple of weeks, that you may find yourself in this position or in this space where you are moving from one space to another or from one level of your life to another, you're going to have to make sure of a couple of things. One of the things that's really important, and it's about 3 or 4 points I want to make for you guys. This won't be a long live. I just wanted to make sure that I shared with you some key things to pay attention to if you are finding yourself in this transitionary period of your life. So, one of the biggest things to pay attention to is the fact that your position matters. So, are you properly positioned? And I know the title of this is Are you properly aligned and positioned for what you have prayed for? A lot of us are waiting for things. A lot of us are seeking certain things, but some of us are not properly aligned or properly positioned in a place that will allow us to receive those things. And so this is something to bring to the forefronts of your mind so that you can start examining these things. Are you ready? Are you positioned? Are you aligning yourself with those all of those different things that can kind of help you get there? So as I mentioned before, the first thing is your position. Are you properly positioned in the place that you should be in order to receive the things that you have prayed for? So that means for people very different things. But I want you to pay attention to what it is that you feel like you have had personally going on with you professionally, where you feel like you're going, and then you need to examine whether you have properly positioned yourself. Now, sometimes that could mean properly positioned and properly aligned could be a mindset. It could be um, the removal of things or the adding of things. This could be internally for you. It could be internal healing. It could be, letting go of certain things, setting boundaries. It could be so many different things. It would take me a really long time to go through all the different things of what this could look like. It could be something as along the lines of God has asked you to go to a particular place and serve there. Are you in position for that? Because sometimes what we don't always see as something of importance could actually be one of the key factors in your life that changes the trajectory of your life by making this connection here or removing this connection here. Just kind of acts as that snowball effect for you to be able to get the ball rolling, get the ball moving, and going forward in that regard. So that's the first point I want you to think about. Are you properly aligned and properly positioned? Have you done the things that God has asked you to do? A lot of times it's usually the main thing that we don't want to do. It's also something that we may struggle with doing um, because let's face it, some things are very uncomfortable for us. Since we are creatures of habit, we tend to love to stay in a place that's comfortable, familiar for us because we don't have to have any extra brain power to figure out how to navigate that thing, that situation, those people, because we've spent an extensive amount of time with them already, if that makes sense. So, be honest with yourself about that. Have you been doing the things that you know you should be doing? Have you been following the path that Holy Spirit has set before you so that you're able to do that? By all means, this doesn't mean that you'll be a perfect person and that you'll always get it right, but being intentional about staying in alignment, going where you feel like you should go, being placed where you should be placed is very important in this season. The next thing I want to bring up for you guys is this: your circle of people matter. Now, when we think about circle, we think about friends. It's typically the first thing that we think about. However, that's not the only thing I want you guys to consider. Your circle is everything. So, your circle is your friendships, your relationships, your business partnerships, um, all of those things. Your circle matters. What do you find is vital in that circle? Are they encouraging you? Do they cover you, whether they're in front of you or not in front of you? um, do they have character? Do they have integrity? These different types of things. What does your circle look like? Who are you surrounded around? Are you surrounded around people that will cover you in prayer? Are you surrounded around people that will show up for you as you show up for them? Are you surrounded around people that you can have correction or be corrected in love? Are you surrounded around people who really want to see you win, who want to see you do better than them? Are you surrounded by those types of things and those type of people? Are you surrounded around people that push you into a place where you're spiritually growing and maturing as a person? Somebody that can hold your arms up when you're not able to hold your arms up yourself. Who are those people that are surrounded around you? For some people, this is a season where you get a front row seat to see who has been in your space and how they might actually see you, how they might actually perceive you. If they really do love and care about you, do they really support you or not? Some people are able, you're in a position now where you're able to see just who is around you. And so it's very important that we take heed, right, of making sure that we are intentional about those people. I think I did a live a few weeks ago and I talked about the three types of people, where we have people that are leaves in our lives, we have people that are branches in our lives, and we have people that are root people in our lives. And based off of that, just thinking about how seasons change and how trees work, we're able to know exactly what type of people fall where. Those leaves are not the reliable people. They may be there because it's something in it for them, whatever the case may be. And whenever XYZ pops off, they're gone. You got some branch people that are stronger than the leaves people, and they may stay with you for a few seasons or whatever, but they still are not sturdy enough to come along with you on your journey, versus those people that are root people, that are rooted in your life. They're rooted into your destiny or your purpose, and they are showing up for you the way that they are supposed to be showing up for you. So you have to know what type of people are in your space. So your circle absolutely matters. Who's in your circle? How are they supporting you? Do they need to stay in your circle? Do you need to shift them out of your circle? Okay. The next thing that we have to do to make sure that we are properly aligned or positioned for what we prayed for is our prayer life and our intentional time with the Lord. As your seasons change and we start going into seasons or places or being surrounded by things that we have never really been surrounded around, and we don't necessarily have a blueprint for because it's not familiar for us, we definitely should be more intentional about our prayer life and more intentional about our time with God, because He's going to directly help us to prepare for and to be positioned and properly aligned for the things that we have prayed for. Um, I don't know about you guys, and some people that I know, because they are in that position or they do have that personal relationship with the Lord, like there could be something going on or something about to happen or something about to transpire, whether it be good, bad, or indifferent, depending on the person's viewpoint. But letting you know ahead of time, hey, this is something that's going on. Oh, no, don't respond that way. This is a way that you should respond. Or, hey, this is really what is going on, even though they may not be saying that. And so you're able to find yourself being able to handle circumstances and situations, whether they're good or bad, very differently than you would have in a different season, because your direct connection, your direct phone line to the Lord gives you a heads up about what's going on with those things or those people that are around you, that are significant to you, that may have some kind of assignment with you, and vice versa. So making sure that your prayer life and your intentional time with God is something that you are um, doing on a consistent basis, because it's going to definitely help you stay properly aligned and positioned for what it is that you pray for, to help you maintain that, to help you have a longevity in that area. It's going to help you with your next season, whatever that next season looks like, whether you're coming out of Egypt and into your wilderness season, or out of your wilderness into the promised land. For a lot of us, we don't know what that looks like. Depending on where you are, you're becoming something and someone who you were always destined to be. But we haven't come into contact with that person. Why? Because we've been in whatever we've been in for an extended period of time. And so it's so vitally important. I can't stress that enough, on how vitally important that is for you to have that direct phone line connection with the Lord, so that you're able to stay properly aligned and positioned for what you prayed for. The last key point, and it's not the only one, but it's the most important for today. The last thing is to be open to the changes that you have to make. A lot of us are super, super comfortable with where we are, what we're doing, um, that we're not necessarily open to certain changes and all that we have to make because of whatever reason. For some people, it's comfort. For some people, it's fear. For some people, it's just not something that they're ready to do or want to do. However, in order to get to this place where you need to do whatever it is that you need to do, guess what? You have to be willing to make certain changes. And I always say this, it's not until we truly get tired of something is when we really start to decide to make certain changes in our life, and we stick with those changes and we're consistent with those changes. Now, again, those changes could look very different for different people. Like I said, it could be a mindset. It could be some things that you have to release, like the spirit of pride or the spirit of, um, fear. That could be something that you have to be open to changing. It could be, a renewing of your mind, a renewing of your spirit. For some of us, it's you have to learn how to forgive people and really forgive people. For some people, there are things that we need to get in order personally that could definitely uh, mess up the trajectory of what you have prayed for. And so before God can release those things to us, there are things that we have to do. For some people, it is your healing journey. It is you resolving those things that cause you to think, act, and behave a particular way. All of those things could be things that we have to be open to changing or to make changes for. Um, it could be tapping into a leadership position. Um, showing up differently, stewarding differently over the things that you have, the people that are in your space. Again, this is not a finite list. This is just a list of certain things that could definitely mean being open to change. Um, and so I wanted to make sure that today you examine, are you properly aligned in position for what you have prayed for? For some of us, our breakthroughs or whatever are just on the opposite side of some of these things, if not all of these things. Um, for some people, it'll just be one of these areas. For some people, it may be all of those areas. But I do want you to pay attention to the fact of whether or not you are setting yourself up for what it is that you have prayed for. A lot of us say, oh, I'm just waiting on the Lord to do XYZ. Oftentimes, it's not necessarily true. Most of the time, He's waiting for us to do some things that we know we should do in order to receive what it is that we are asking for in prayer, right? So, again, guys, like I said, this wasn't going to be a very long live. I just wanted to bring this to the forefront of your mind so that you can consider that. It'll be really important for some of us in this season to make sure that we are tuned in, to make sure that we are positioning ourselves, to make sure that we are not missing opportunities, missing connections, missing certain things that we need to have in order to position us, align us to where it is that we're all, that we're supposed to be going. So, thank you again for joining me on this episode of the Mental Wellness Sanctuary with your host, Coach Frances McMiller, licensed therapist here in Jacksonville, Florida. For those of you that are interested, of course, you guys know that I still have my journals. I have my books. I am out of cards. Thanks to the last vending event that I did, I'm so forever grateful for the support. But if you are interested in obtaining a journal or a book, I do have those on hand. And if you purchase from me, I will definitely be sure to make sure that I sign your copy of your book or your journal that you purchase from me. If you know of somebody that is looking for a qualified licensed mental health counselor here in Jacksonville, Florida, to supervise them, I am definitely open and able to supervise those that are coming up out of school in their master's program and looking to become licensed as a therapist. So you're more than welcome to share my information with that individual. Um, I'd be grateful for that as well. Also, do want to make sure that I tell you guys to just keep an eye out for me. I will be sharing a little bit later on in the next coming weeks some of the things that I will be doing, some of the things that have shifted. For those that joined me for the Mother's Day kickback brunch, painting with a twist, was a very nice and intimate setting. Those that showed up got exactly what it was that they needed. And so I plan to have another Mother's time kickback session in July. So for if you missed it in this month of May, you can definitely chime in, come hang out with us in July for the next Mother's Day kickback. It's an opportunity for moms, aunties, godmothers, um, grandmas. I don't really care. It's if you have a capacity where you're involved in a child's life in some way, you are more than welcome to come. You don't have to be a mom, but it's a relaxing time. It's a chill time for those to be able to come, unwind, conversate, and get some tips and some tools. At that brunch, we discussed that self care is not selfish because a lot of us feel guilty for taking care of ourselves. However, you can only provide the best version of yourself after you have taken care of yourself. And for those of us that are our moms or aunties or godparents or grandparents or whatever, we want to be able to give those we love the most the best versions of ourselves. So, guys, plan to link up with me again in July for that next kickback session. So again, thank you again for joining me. I will see you guys on next week Wednesday for the next episode of the Mental Wellness Sanctuary. Have an amazing rest of your week, and I'll see you guys here next week.